Good evening, everybody. How are we all doing? My name is Mike Dewan here at the Region Sports Network. It is Friday evening, and we are coming to you live from the Centier Bank studio at the Athletic Performance Factory for the Region Football Tailgate Show. Mike Dewan joining alongside me is Matt Skura back in action. You were here with Michael Bradner last week. Super good to be back here with you, Matt, breaking this all down. But week 6, it's hard to believe. We're probably going to say this at the open of every single show, but a lot of great games on our slate. And, how are we feeling entering this Friday night?
Good, good. Unfortunately, the weather's not changing yet. It's still in the 80s, but October's almost here, and you get that fall.
No, that said, the former Griffith Panther, Matt Skura, give me ideal football weather before we start breaking things down.
60s, nice, cool. Just
What's
not cold enough where you're seeing your breath, but just cool where you can, you're not sweating to death.
Overcast or clear skies?
Clear skies. You can see the stars sometimes through the region air.
It's still a little hot, though. Still a little hot outside, but it's going to dip super soon. And before you know it, it'll be dark during this time, and it'll be some trophies to hand out. But it's week 6, and Matt, we got some games to break down. We'll start from the top alphabetically and work our way down. We'll talk about our 4 games, of course, on the Region Sports Network and all the festivities we're doing here tonight. I guess before we, one question I wanted to ask you, a common theme I'm seeing with a lot of these games, homecoming. Some fantastic events going on at these schools, a lot of great festivities, and always a good time for the community. But Matt, I'll ask you, as a player, when you have homecoming, what is that like? Because it is. I know you're also a coach as well, so there's a lot of distractions kind of on that side. But when you're a player, of course, it's super fun. But it's an interesting dynamic.
Yeah, super fun. The whole week it's exciting. The student body is doing different things every day. You're dressing up like farmers or school colors or, Halloween costumes, things like that. Just fun to be able to do something different at school for the week. And then I don't know if they still do it now, but at Griffith, when we were there, Thursday night, you had your king and queen court, and they played a bunch of games, and you got to watch the Powder Puff girls play their flag football games and all that stuff. And then you go out and have your mischief and fun Thursday night, and cheerleaders TP to football players' house, football players TP other people's houses, which I don't know if you could do that anymore with the Ring doorbells and stuff, but it's all fun and games,
But as a coach in this case, how do you kind of keep your players' heads screwed on straight that it's like, hey guys, yes, it's a fun week at school. You're looking forward to a dance come tomorrow night, but hey, it's Friday night. We got a game to play, and you got to kind of live on that side of the coin.
Yeah, you get all your fun and games over with on Thursday night, and then Friday you come in after school's over with, and you get focus on the game. Usually you try to schedule your homecoming game as a team that you should beat on paper, so it's, you're prepared for it. You're trying to get mentally prepared for it that night. But then again, it's a long halftime because of the court and stuff like that. Some of the players are on the court, so they're gone. And if it's a tight game, those players more than likely are important players on the team, so they need to be in there. But they got to give them their dues for possibly being homecoming king.
Right, and that's again if the coach even allowed you to kind of get out there and to sit on that court. There might be bigger things in the locker room, but enough about homecoming. We'll talk about some of the events that we know that are going on tonight, including our 4 games are all homecoming games, which is super exciting. But before we get into the games that will happen, we have 2 games going on right now. Our Strachan Vanto hometown scoreboard is live. I believe we just about entered in the second quarter of a game at Hammond Central. The Andrew Thunderbolts came into Hammond Central. I believe that score is still 9-0. Aaron Svetland doing a great job on scoreboard here tonight. And it's 17-0, thank you, in favor of the Andrew Thunderbolts, the team from Illinois coming in here and doing a good job over the Wolves here so far. The Wolves hoping to respond quickly after an early deficit. A game starting at 6:30 at the Culver Academy. Eagles taking on the host KV Cougars. KV hoping to get in the win column. We'll take it off with some games starting at 7 o'clock this evening. The Andrean 59ers coming off of that big win last week, Matt, over Hobart. They now will take on the Highland Trojans. The Andrean coming in at 3 in our bowl.
Yeah, they well-balanced offense there. Yeah. It looks like they're averaging about 175 rushing yards a game, 140 passing yards a game, give or take a few yards there. And offense is moving the ball well. Defense put on an impressive show against Hobart.
I think Andrean getting over that Hobart hump last week. Now, the only other undefeated team, which we'll talk about here later in the show, but are the Lowell Red Devils, and they face off in Week 9. So I feel like Andrean kind of where they're positioned right now, and you could speak on this too, Matt. But Andrean has a real chance of potentially winning this NCC title outright, given obviously the results of tonight's game, but a schedule that really kind of favors them, and hopefully playing their best football come Week 9 against the Lowell Red Devils.
Yeah, it's still an open NCC. If Hobart beats Lowell tonight, they got one loss apiece. I think it's Hanover has one loss also,
That's
so
true.
Hanover can make a run there. They beat Andrean. You got 4 teams with one loss. It'll be crazy.
Everybody gets a quarter of the pie, I guess. Who knows?
Yeah,
Maybe we put it past them, right?
You're not going to get. It'll probably be 2 teams with the share with the way things work out. With Hobart still has to play Hanover. Lowell. Lowell still has to play Andrean. Andrean still has to play Hanover. So somebody's going to beat somebody. But
and we're all
Andrean's
here for
sitting in a good spot right now.
I would say so. Moving down the line, the Lake Station Eagles host the Bishop Knoll Warriors. We did the Lake Station game last week against Whiting. This is a team that can run the football, and they might do it here again. Bishop Knoll also had a win last week. The Bowman Academy Eagles take on the North White Vikings. North White hosting Bowman. Bowman got off to a strong start to the season. Ran into a couple tough opponents, hoping to rebound and take on this North White team that is hosting them. A game we'll pump the brakes on here, Matt. A game on the Region Sports Network. One of the 4 games we got, one of the 4 homecoming games we have on the Region Sports Network, coming to you live from the Warpath as the Portage Indians take on the Chesterton Trojans. Starting off with Chesterton winning that rivalry game of that magnitude last week. I'm sure that that definitely boosted confidence for Mark Peterson and his squad, now coming in at 9 in our poll.
Oh yeah, I think I read somewhere on Facebook that was the first time in 12 years that they beat them.
Yeah,
12 tries. I
think it might have been 14, and I think the first time since 2015. But at that point, who's counting, right?
Yeah,
it's been that long.
But Chesterton's defense looks incredible. They're led by linebacker Lucas Anderson. Yep. He's our leading tackler. I think he's our leading interception guy. He's probably leading sacks. He's got 3 interceptions, fumble recovery, scoring touchdowns on defense. He can do it all.
He's been that heartbeat for the defense, to say the least. An offense that's starting to kind of come around. Andrew Govea running the football very, very well. Hunter Boyd has looked better and better. I was at that game last week against Valparaiso, getting asked to kind of be that game manager and just make the plays when he's called upon. He's done that so far.
Yeah, I got it written down here. If it's correct, he's thrown for 7 touchdowns and 1 interception so far. Yep. So managing the game really well, and then by junior, senior year, he's going to be dominating the game.
That's the name of the game. If you keep that trajectory up, and he has a chance to do that against the Portage Indians, who we've been saying kind of the same thing about this Portage squad. They have some pieces, of course. Cody Young, their quarterback, who's been there for a few seasons, but it's real tough, kind of how this season has transpired for Portage, and they've shown flashes in certain games. They played Maryville fairly well. Crown Point, that's a tough team to play, and they fought until the very end. Now it's been kind of a tough start to the Dumoulin just in terms of opponents. I think welcoming in Chesterton, that it could be a closer score game given that Chesterton just likes to run the football. So what does Portage maybe need to do in a game that might be close and might come down to a couple plays? And obviously when you're at home on your homecoming, those players are definitely juiced up.
Yeah, especially with Chesterton running the ball a lot, they're going to be controlling. So you need to make the most of every offensive possession that you get. And even if you do punt, put them deep, maybe a fumble here and there might turn things around for you.
Win the turnover battle, and especially play to your home fans. You're watching the Region Football Tailgate Show. Matt and I will step aside for a little bit. We got a couple more games to break down before these 7 o'clock kickoffs. Thank you all for tuning in, coming to you live from the Center Bank Studio at the Athletic Performance Factory. This is the Region Football Tailgate Show on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Hi, my name is Mark Macknick. I'm the owner of Mark Macknick CPA firm in Highland, Indiana on Kennedy Avenue. I've been working with Region Sports for years now. Started working with Chris years ago, just on some special projects, advertising here and there. After a while, kind of increased the advertising. Mainly was doing it for the community involvement. It's such a great network and program they do with the high school sports. But as time went by, I started getting on there more frequently. And then the phone starts ringing And I was getting calls all the time from people. Hey, I saw your ad on so-and-so football game. I saw your ad on a basketball game. And it's really helped my business. It's increased the volume. You know, we're a tight community in Northwest Indiana, sports-wise, and just a lot of community involvement. So that's mainly why I got into it. Yeah, I remember watching one game. It was a basketball game, and I think there was a little bit of an altercation. And as the altercation was happening, my ad was right on the bottom, and someone typed in, "I wonder what Mark Machnick's thinking right now." And I was thinking, wow, this is awesome. It's really been a great feature for my business. It's the only advertising I do. I don't advertise anywhere else other than Region Sports. You know, it's for the business, but mainly for the involvement with the community. I played high school baseball here in Highland. And ever since I've been advertising on Region Sports, a lot of my old coaches are now my clients. A lot of my old teammates come in here. My recommendation, if you're a business here in Northwest Indiana, I think Region Sports is, for your money, it's one of the best places that you can advertise. I mean, I can advertise on billboards. I could do anywhere I want to. And I choose Region Sports mainly because I get a lot of feedback. You know, especially on the high school level, a lot of the parents, if they can't make a game, they're watching it online, they're watching a replay, the grandparents. So it's done wonders for my business, and it's my go-to for advertising. It's the only spot I would advertise. So if you're a business owner in the area, really look into advertising on Region Sports. It's going to be well worth your money, and you'll make tenfold on what you're spending. Region Sports Network, they're the only game in town, but they're more than just a game.
Back here coming to you live from the Center Bank studio from the Athletic Performance Factory. Mike DeWan, Matt Skura here for the Region Football Tailgate Show. Matt, a couple more games to break down. We'll take it to your alma mater at the Boneyard. The 7th-rated Griffith Panthers take on the East Chicago Central Cardinals. East Chicago Central, they have the leading rusher in the area, a quarterback that is he's got some electrifying plays. He makes some key runs. Darian Morris is his name. But this Griffith team is playing motivated. The status of Phil Mason, we have to see. I know he's been going through his battle with pneumonia, and he's been sidelined these past 2 weeks. If he's back, especially in this homecoming game for the Griffith Panthers, I could imagine how motivated those guys are even more to go out there and perform.
Oh, absolutely. I just from watching it these last few years, I think those kids would run on a bus for him. But like Griffith's offense is on a roll. They're averaging about 45 points a game, and East Chicago's giving up about 35 points a game. So, but East Chicago's also scoring 30 points a game. Mm-hmm. So it's,
the numbers definitely play, I think, in the host's favor. And again, homecoming crowd, expect a big party over there at the Boneyard. A very intriguing NCC matchup with my alma mater hosting the Hanover Central Wildcats. The Munster Mustangs will be at home. This is one that Michael Bradner and I kind of at least pump the brakes on a little bit, just because Hanover Central, you mentioned, is still kind of in the running for the NCC, and Munster at least has been playing a little bit better football. One of those games that I think Hanover Central, especially this year, just given the outlook of their team and still trying to find their identity, this may not be a game that they kind of just walk in there and I think they could go out and come out with the win.
Yeah, Munster's been very competitive in games, and Hanover Central, they're rolling. There's, again, a balanced offense, which is what you want. You don't want to be overweight one way or the other. I mean, you're producing yards is what you need to do. Mm-hmm. But I think Hanover can sneak by Munster. I hate to, kick you in the shin there with that one. But, again, it is Munster's. They're home. They always play tough at home. It's a long drive down Calumet Avenue for Hanover Central, and that, we all know how driving down Calumet Avenue is.
Especially this time. So, when we were all coming here, that wasn't easy. But we're here now, and we're talking about some football, but a good game over there at the Marshlands. One of the games on the Region Sports Network. This will be an audio-only broadcast coming to you live from the Purple Palace. The 2nd-rated Maryville Pirates will host the LaPorte Slashers. Again, another homecoming game, so watch out for that. But, your thoughts on this one, Maryville? Coming off of a statement victory last week against Michigan City. LaPorte, a big win against Lake Central as well, but it's tough to play at that stadium, especially in front of a homecoming crowd.
Yeah, LaPorte's playing a lot better, but I just think the Maryville juggernaut is going to be too much for them this week. But if they can control the clock, anything can happen.
I'd say so. In Maryville, again, they two junior playmakers on both of these teams. LaPorte, watch out for a name that'll be called Reed Raymond, a two-way guy, especially made a lot of key plays in that Lake Central victory, especially. In Maryville, one of just the top quarterbacks in the area. Michael Hill Jr. had a 330 plus yards of total offense against Michigan City last week, protecting the football very well, given how much he's asked to do. And Maryville hoping to kind of keep the train rolling as this season progresses. Again, that game will be on the Region Sports Network. We also talked about earlier in the show the 9th-rated Chesterton Trojans will be at the Portage Indians on a game on the Region Sports Network. Keeping things moving, a very, very intriguing game, a top 5 matchup, and a homecoming game at the Brickyard. The 5th-ranked Lowell Red Devils battle with the 4th-ranked Hobart Brickies. We talked about it last night on Region Football Weekly. Lowell playing some very good football, very solid outside of that one loss to Crown Point. I'd say their body of work might be a little bit more impressive. While you look at Hobart, where they had maybe a more favorable start to the schedule, and kind of what we saw last week against Andrean was kind of out of the ordinary. Your initial thoughts on this one? Because there's a lot of big NCC implications, and obviously an unbeaten team in the conference like Lowell. I'm sure if Andrean takes care of business tonight, I'm sure they'll tune into that game and see what happens in that one.
Lowell Devils are rolling, the Red Devils are rolling on offense. I mean, they're putting up some major points here. Their quarterback there, he's got about 570 yards passing, 409 yards rushing. Their rushing attack looks really good. But Hobart's won the last 4 games against Lowell. So that, I'll probably jinx them just like saying a no-hitter or something like that. But Hobart's offense has been struggling a little bit. They're putting up the yards, but not putting up the points.
Yeah, I'd say this is definitely a get-back game for that offense that really couldn't do anything on the ground and through the air against the Andrean 59ers. I want to say they were limited to, I think, the number, I'll give the range, 25 to 35 rushing yards against the Andrean 59ers. And Alex Tatum, who did a lot of great things through the air, I think he only completed 6 of 23 passes. It might have been 7 to 23, 6 of 23. Either of those rates will not fly. And obviously this is a game that will have a lot of implications. And once again, a homecoming game, emotions will especially be riding high with the home team. Another homecoming game, this one on the Region Sports Network, coming to you live from the burial grounds, the 8th-ranked Michigan City Wolves hope for a get-back game for a team hoping to do the exact same thing with the Lake Central Indians. I think the key for Lake Central, and you could speak on this, but it's a long drive for Michigan City. And it's, I think, Lake Central. You want to start early because what we saw last week against LaPorte, that was on the other side of the coin, and they fell behind early and never got back.
Yeah, depending on the coin toss, you either want to come out and get a big stop right away or you want to come out and put points on the board right away. Lake Central's been struggling to score. If they can move the ball, get some points, I think that'll build their confidence and get them rolling again. And Michigan City, just speed.
That's the
speed
thing.
Kills.
And you're hoping to kind of keep up that speed, I'd like to say Michigan City is. I know they kind of up-tempo a little bit, and how do you stay fresh, though? I mean, that's the thing. If this game was at Ames Field, I'd be a little bit more optimistic about this Michigan City team and how they will fare going forward. Because I'll tell you this, I mean, to hop on that bus ride, and it's one of the longest bus rides I could say in the Duneland for sure. How does Michigan City, maybe get in that rhythm early and not fall behind to this Lake Central
they'll
squad?
Just have to avoid a slow start. If they can, and slow start meaning, if they can stop Lake Central on a couple of possessions, they may not score, but get a few first downs here and there, get the ball rolling, get a little comfortable, get your feet under you from sitting on the bus for probably at least an hour,
Got to leave school early, right?
Yeah.
Got to try and beat that traffic on the expressway. Yeah. Not fun to do. We'll take one more break. We got some games starting on the Region Sports Network, but some more games to break down before that 7 o'clock start. You are watching the Region Football Tailgate Show on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
At Strachan Van Til, we believe grocery shopping should be simple. Now, shopping is easier than ever with our new and improved website. Find what you need fast. Browse your favorite products, add them to your cart, and check out in just a few quick steps. Choose between convenient in-store pickup or let us handle the heavy lifting. From our shelves to your doorstep. Skip the lines, shop your way, and spend more time on what matters most. With our rewards program, enjoy incredible savings and personalized offers every time you shop. Shop online now at strachanvantil.com or download our app today.
Hi, I'm Crowd Company's Lantern Man. If you're a contractor, it's my job to make your insurance coverage simple and affordable. Because I know time is money, I'll come to your business. Certificates and bonds are a snap. Wherever you are, whatever business you're in, we've got you covered. As Crowell Companies Lantern Man, I'm your insurance superhero.
Crowell Companies, insurance professionals. Highland, Merrillville, and Michigan City.
Thinking about what to do after high school? Consider a career with Boilermakers Local 374. As a Boilermaker apprentice, you'll earn while you learn. We offer excellent wages and benefits, and as part of our no-cost hands-on apprenticeship program, you'll learn from the best in state-of-the-art training centers and on the job. Become a union Boilermaker and get on your way to a great career. Find out more, visit www.local374.org or call 219-845-1000.
From lighting up Friday night football to powering the classrooms that shape the students of Lake County, IBEW Local 697 is proud to support our region's schools and the communities we call home. A career as a union electrician could be your next great move. Your next cap might be a hard hat. IBEW Local 697, powering futures, powering the region.
Four Seasons Mechanical proudly serves Northwest Indiana, providing quality, reasonably priced, reliable service. With a quality and comfort guarantee, the professionals at Four Seasons Mechanical offer a wide range of services in heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. Whether it's residential or commercial, Four Seasons Mechanical is there 24/7. To find out more, the website is fourseasonsmechanical.com or give them a call at 219-756-7020. Four Seasons Mechanical, your indoor air quality specialist.
Back here live for the Region Football Tailgate Show. Mike DeWan along with Matt Skura coming to you live from the Centier Bank studio at the Athletic Performance Factory. A couple more games to break down, then we'll let you guys go tune into some of our streams. Matt and I will stay here, though. We'll have the RSN zone. We'll take a break after this, but we got a few more games to break down here. Matt, we'll start off with the lone Saturday game, the 10th ranked Morton Governors take on the Calumet Christian Patriots. Morton, we talked about a little bit kind of on Region Football Weekly, a little bit more of a favorable schedule coming up, and that might be just kind of a tune-up game kind of for them going forward. A game in the GSSC, the River Forest Ingots will go to Boone Grove to take on the Wolves. Boone Grove, after kind of those just wild circumstances last week, they have that week off to kind of recoup. A Boone Grove, a team that's been kind of rebuilding and had a slower year to their standards. To have, and obviously I'm hoping that you or I are never in kind of the situation where you're expected to kind of play a game on Friday and then you're not. Now, again, you may have a bye in a sectional or something like that where you're kind of already accustomed to it. What would you, kind of mentally, what do you think kind of Boone Grove kind of, it's probably nice to have a week off, of course, especially kind of the way this season has gone for them. But does this hurt them? Does this benefit them? I'm not sure.
It should. You would think it would benefit them. It's very disappointing for those kids because I kind of think Boone Grove and Wheeler are a little bit rivals.
Yeah.
Being as close as they are, so they're probably looking forward to that game. It was Wheeler's homecoming,
Yep.
But the circumstances, it's disappointing but understanding.
Mm-hmm. Boone Grove, good for them to be back at home taking on a River Forest squad. A game that we definitely have to talk about here on the Duneland. A very, very intriguing match. The top-ranked Crown Point Bulldogs take on the Valparaiso Vikings. Valparaiso, coming into this game, Matt, I bet when we were kind of gearing up for the season, this was a game that was kind of typically circled on all schedules. Valparaiso was kind of falling on tough times. A 1-4 record. Crown Point, obviously unblemished through 5. For Crown Point to be back at home, I'm sure that only makes things a little bit sweeter. And what should be just a good game. I think we're going to keep our eyes on it for sure. But just a different feel this year in comparison to the last few.
Yeah, another homecoming game.
Yeah.
Valpo just can't get one-dimensional. If they get one-dimensional, then they're going to be in trouble again. They can't have all the penalties they've been having. They can pull out a win. They got to play a perfect game.
Yeah,
but they have the potential to do it.
When you're looking up at a team like that, like Crown Point, that you mentioned, playing that perfect game, what are maybe some keys that you have to do? You talked about penalties. Valpo's a team that throws the football a lot, so I'd like to say you want to try and get in rhythm, but to play that perfect game, what are those kind of 3 steps maybe for Valparaiso to potentially walk out in here and at least make this one close and put up a fight against the region's best?
Try and get a special teams touchdown or a big play on special teams. Force Crown Point into turnovers, force them to do some things that they aren't comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
Defensively, maybe just let it all out, shoot some shoot some linebackers or something like that, get some blitzes. You have nothing to lose.
Sure, no doubt about it. No doubt about it. A game we'll definitely keep our eyes on. Again, Matt and I will be back here shortly after this for RS End Zone. But 2 more games to break down. The 6th-ranked Wheeler Bearcats will go to West Side, similar to what we said about Boone Grove. Just a very, very, I wish I could put a better term on this, but just an unfortunate situation. What kind of transpired, given everything, the alleged threats and all that, and obviously the cancellation of the game. And Wheeler have to bounce back in this, but this is a team that is highly rated in their respective class in the 2A level, and they're just hoping to kind of get back on track despite what Michael Bradden and I talked about yesterday, having that week off, where I bet this was a team in a case that they want to keep rolling, and they have a chance to, again, do this against West Side.
Their offense is definitely rolling. They got a strong defense, too. I think they've only given up 7 points all year.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
This will be their first tough test, playing West Side, bigger school, bigger, they're probably a bigger line, size-wise, everything. Speed is a big thing, too. So it'll be a good test for them.
I would say so. West Side coming into this one 2-2, 1 game less, similar 4-game schedule to what they have this point in the season. With Wheeler, our 4th game on the Region Sports Network, another homecoming game coming to you live from Calumet High School, the alma mater of our esteemed producer, Justin Cole. The Calumet Warriors host the Whiting Oilers. Whiting, we saw last Saturday, they lost to Lake Station, a team that has a good running back in the backfield in Demetrio Lopez. But this Calumet team has been one of the biggest surprises in these early parts of the season. They got a good cat of their own in the backfield in Bryce Brandon. Your initial breakdown on this one.
Yeah, Calumet's a run-dominant team. They still can throw the ball around, but, they're tough. They had their lone setback was against Highland, but I think they were in the lead, then Highland fought back, and they took the lead again. It was a back-and-forth game, so I think if Calumet asserts their dominance on the run game and on defense, they should get past Whiting there.
Guess we can only wait and see. Again, 4 games on the Region Sports Network. 4 homecoming games. They're all just about kicking off right now on YouTube, on Facebook, on the IHSAA Champions Network, and on regionsports.com. To kind of go back through our 4 games, the 9th-ranked Chesterton Trojans take on the host Portage Indians. The Whiting Oilers travel to take on Calumet. The Lake Central Indians host the 8th-ranked Michigan City Wolves, and the Maryville Pirates take on the LaPorte Slicers in an audio-only broadcast. Matt, any final thoughts of this Region Football Tailgate show?
Should be a good night for football. Not a lot of grass stains on the jerseys and uniforms, but
we do miss that for sure.
Yeah,
and it still feels like it's August out here, which
a
couple things we'd like to change.
It still feels like early in the season, but it's still lights are on. It's starting to get dark out for kickoff, which is always fun. You always like to play at night. You don't want to play your game in the day.
That's why they call it Friday Night Lights. So Matt and I will take a break. We'll be back here very shortly. We'll get our ducks in a row and get ready for RS End Zone. But thank you all for watching the Region Football Tailgate Show on the Region Sports Network, the only game in town.
Old Man Winter is just around the corner, and that means temperatures will soon begin to drop. And a region winter is not the time to be left out in the cold. The professionals at Economy Electric Heating and Cooling can tune up that old furnace or install a new unit that can last for years. Your family deserves to stay comfortable this winter, and with 24/7 emergency service, comfort is just a phone call away. Economy Electric Heating and Cooling, 219-923-4441. Or for more info, the website is forajobdoneright.com.
Earn while you learn from the best hands in the business. The Bricklayers Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. That's right, this is a paid apprenticeship.
I'm getting an education while learning a trade and getting paid for it.
The thing that surprised me the most about this apprenticeship program is the respect I've received after the proper time and training.
Classes start soon, so apply now. There are training centers throughout Indiana and Kentucky. We are the Bricklayers and Allied Craft Workers for Indiana, Kentucky Apprenticeship. The best hands in the business.
Flip the switch, a light turns on. Press the button, machines and instruments come to life. Touch the screen, communicate with the world. Simple tasks, guaranteed results, every second of every day. That's the power of power. And that's the power brought to you by the NECA contractors and electrical workers of Local 531.
Calling all current and future homeowners in the Northwest Indiana area. Whether you're buying or selling, Brent Wright is here to make your real estate journey smooth and successful. With years of experience, personalized service, and a deep knowledge of the market, Brent will help you find the perfect place or get the best deal for your property. Call today at 219-406-7195 and take the first step toward your real estate goals. Contact Brent Wright, the right way to buy and sell real estate.
Life isn't always loud. Sometimes it's the quiet moments that matter the most. Of effort, of a dream taking root. And behind those moments, there's trust. Thank you for trusting Centier Bank with those moments and making us a part of your story. Thank you for the opportunity to earn your trust.
The Athletic Performance Factory is Northwest Indiana's premier athletic training center. The 40,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility features batting cages, a sand training room, a new outdoor turf infield, and so much more. Check out the facility for one of their daily classes at 3150 45th Street in Highland. Interested in signing up for team workouts or individual lessons? Check out their website at trainapf.com or contact them at 219-750-1087. Athletic Performance Factory, where athletes are made.
At Blyce, we're used to having the athlete shop at our store.
Down, sit, put.
But sometimes they get carried away. Blyce, this is where the athlete shops.